So the world is kind of on fire. I mean, schools shut down, businesses shut down, people are stuck at home in quarantine or working from home. It's hard to understand what's really happening. It's unbelievable. And I think if you're a writer, you should look at this as an opportunity instead of an obstacle. Because if you're stuck at home and there's not that much to do, all you can do is write. Just write. Tell great stories, and I think that's a way for us to, function these days, to think of something else, get distracted. And I hope this video is gonna help you getting a bit distracted and hopefully get on with your writing process. So what's the first step in writing a screenplay? Watch this video to find out. Wow, where do I start? It can be kind of overwhelming starting a new screenplay, and I mean, where do you start? There's so much stuff to do. Read books, watch movies, find that little story that you really want to dig into and, put that much time and energy into. I mean, it's kind of overwhelming. Hey guys, if you're like me who loves screenwriting and you want to listen to me and my friend Michelle babble about screenwriting and our process in this whole big jungle, please consider subscribing to this channel and don't forget to hit that little notification button so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Writing an outline, step outline, treatment, synopsis, writing those characters, dialogue, writing the actual screenplay. Wow. So wait. Just take a deep breath. You got this. So this is what I usually do when I'm starting my process. My ideas kind of just arrives to me out of nowhere. Maybe when I'm taking a walk, I'm on the train, I meet someone, people that inspire me, people that annoy me, other movies, or if I read a book, or literally anything. What I do first is brainstorm. I open up a Word document, I type in everything that comes to mind. I mean, sometimes I have to, sit down and just come up with the idea. Sometimes I have the idea and I just write. In the Word document, because I don't open up Final Draft or any other screenwriting software until later. I know there are some screenwriters that don't really outline, and I can't imagine them not doing a brainstorm, but I don't know, I can talk for other people. But for me, I'm a bit confused in the beginning because there's so much stuff to figure out about the story, where I'm heading, what's gonna happen, what are the characters. I need to brainstorm. I need to put all the stuff down so I can, have them in one document and then just go over it and read through it again and then keep writing and just brainstorm, because there's so much stuff to figure out in the beginning. I put down what is it about, the characters. I try to figure out all kinds of stuff. I mean, sometimes a scene just arrives in my head and I kind of try to type it down, but not really, correct formatting or anything. I'm just writing it down the way I see it in my head, and I keep just putting everything that's in my brain, and so I don't forget anything, because that's annoying when you forget something. So I just write down anything, even if it's bad. It's just keep going. After a while, I'm kind of getting an understanding of what the story is going to be about. I probably have figured out what the problem for the main character is. I do interviews with my characters so I get to know them. I figure out how old are they, what do they look like, what are they working with, and so on. Exactly how those interviews look like is for another video. I usually go back and forth between the brainstorming document and the characters document, because I have one document for each character. So I just kind of go back and forth, because eventually you come up with more characters and then you have to figure out what are they like. So I have to keep doing these interviews and get to know them so they kind of become their own person. At some point I start my step outline, and I think that's when I have come a bit forward with my brainstorming. And the step outline should be one line with a scene or an event that makes the story move forward. And this part of my process is kind of messy as well, because I tend to go back between the brainstorming, the step outline, and the characters, because eventually when I move forward, I kind of find out, oh wow, I need another character. I need to do another interview, even when I'm in the step outline or in the brainstorming part. So this kind of feel like I'm a big messy part of the process, but I love it because it's, there's so much stuff to do. It's so much stuff to learn. So it's just keep going and moving back and forth between those documents and make the story grow. Like I said, this part is kind of messy, but I think you just should keep writing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like every idea is going to be in the actual screenplay. Sometimes I have to erase. I don't think I erase, maybe in the step outline. I could do like different version of the step outline. But all the ideas are good. You can just develop an idea and just don't erase it. Just keep writing and write, because I think at this stage you just should not focus on it being perfect. I think it's a good idea to just keep writing at this point and just put it down on paper. I don't really know when I'm ready for the next step after the step outline. I tend to, try to have the whole story in front of my eyes in the step outline, and then I eventually move forward. But I have realized lately that I should probably spend more time in the step outline, because I think I move forward too fast, because I think it's a good way to stay there and see the whole story in front of your eyes, because probably you can see some stuff that's probably not going to work. You need to have conflict in every scene and make something that's making the audience hooked in your story. So, I think I'm getting ahead of myself going forward too fast. So I should probably stay longer in this part of the process. But at some point when I'm kind of, okay, I have a step outlined, I should move forward to the treatment where I actually write each scene like for one paragraph. I don't think I have a treatment for each of my screenplays. I want to, but I think I probably should spend more time in the treatment process as well, because I get too eager and moving forward to the screenplay, because it's so fun to write in like final draft and you actually see the story. But I think I should also spend more time on the treatment part, because I tend to rewrite a lot. And you're probably gonna rewrite a lot anyway, but I think maybe I could get fewer rewrites if I would spend longer time in both the step outline and the treatment part. I don't think I have a full treatment yet of any screenplay. I do, but I don't think I actually wrote for all the scenes. Probably the main story, and then I had to add more stuff later on. And I think if I would have spent more time in the treatment part, maybe I didn't have to realize that I needed all those extra scenes later on. For me personally, I think every process looks differently, and I can't really tell if you should do both a step outline and a synopsis and a treatment, because that's a lot of work. But screenwriting is a lot of work. But for me, I think I should definitely try to do both those parts to see if I can make less rewrites. So when I actually am writing in the screenplay, I don't have to have like as much rewrites. I'm personally a person that sees stuff. I need to have the whole picture to get the understanding of stuff. So what I usually do is I use a board. I usually have a physical board, or I have like a digital one. And so the main purpose is to put post-its, one scene on each post-it. Final Draft has one feature now in the Final Draft 11, which I love. They have a beat board where you can put post-its and just move things around. And that's amazing, because I think for me it's hard to understand the whole picture if I just read through my step outline. I can, but it's not like I oh, this is the midpoint, I should move it over here. These are stuff. I mean, I just love the beat board because I can move things around, and you see like, wow, I need more stuff in Act 1, and Act 3 is kind of, too short. So I think the beat board is helping me a lot, and I really recommend that one as well. Maybe you could skip a step outline and only working with the beat board, but I tend to do both. I kind of think it's good because I think I use the beat board when I'm a bit further in the process. Maybe I should try to use it earlier, but I mean, it depends on what kind of mood you are. If you feel like I need to move stuff around, I need to see it from my eyes right now, you can just go over the beat board because all processes are differently. And I mean, just doing stuff like outlining and beat board and treatments, it's gonna help for sure when you're writing the screenplay. I think for me, it's actually helping a lot. After I have done my backstory on my characters, I have done my beat board, I have done a step outline or a treatment or both, and like some parts of all of them. I have basically the story in front of me. I move forward to the screenplay. And like I said, I probably should move forward to the screenplay later on. At least that's my opinion for my process, because I think that's might make it better. I don't know. Maybe the process will be faster, quicker, or maybe you don't have to overwork or redo too much stuff. So I'm opening up the final draft, and I just have my outline next to me, or my beat board, or my treatment. Actually, probably the treatment. Here's where the treatment is amazing compared to the step outline, because if you have written a treatment, you know the story. Maybe you don't have the dialogue because you're not going to write the dialogue in either of them. So in the screenplay, the dialogues arrives, but you have the scene. You know what's happening in the scene if you have the treatment. I mean, if you have only the step outline, you kind of know what it should be, like the conflict in that scene, but you don't have like what's actually happening from point A to point B in that scene. So that's why the treatment are good. So I just have it next to me, and when I'm writing the screenplay, I can just look at it, and then I know what's there. So I need to just work on the dialogue. And I usually sometimes I do like Act 1 first, separately, and then I do Act 3, so I know where I'm heading. So I know the beginning, I know the end, and then I do the Act 2, which is a lot of work to make the audience keep getting them interested in the story. And then eventually put it all together, and I have my first draft. And from here, I rewrite. I rewrite. I can't tell you how much I rewrite to make it better, to make each character's dialogue stand out for what the kind of character that person is. That's probably the part where I actually see the film in front of me, how it's actually with the dialogue and what's happening and the conflict. And sometimes I actually have to go back to the board or the step outline and move things around, because sometimes I realize this scene doesn't really work on paper for the screenplay, or I tend to realize this is not working out. My Act 2 sucks. I can't keep the interest for the story. I mean, people are not gonna keep writing. I mean, keep reading. So yeah, that's, again, probably I should spend more time on the board and the step outline and the treatment before going into the screenplay, because then I could, like I said, I mean, I'm saying it again, maybe I could write less rewrites. I don't know. I probably should try that. I should probably try to write more in the treatment for what's actually happened, and then I can focus more on the dialogue in the screenplay. It's like a never-ending story. You're never really gonna know when you're done because you can always make it better. That's kind of annoying and fascinating at the same time. And one thing I do recommend is getting feedback. Feedback from your friends. Maybe you have a teacher that taught you writing, or maybe you don't have to have like all those people that know screenwriting, but it's great to have someone who's also a screenwriter to look at it. Maybe you can get feedback from several people because it helps a lot, at least for me, because otherwise I'm always stuck in my little bubble and I tend to, think that everything is perfect, and that, not perfect, but I think you should probably understand this, and this is working awesome, and this scene is so much fun for the story, and then I get some feedback and then I'm like, they make me see it in another way, and that's, it's the best. It's probably making the process better to get feedback. That's it for today, folks. And I hope you got out something from this video, that you got inspired and you want to write. How do you start your process when writing a screenplay? And what does your process look like? Please add a comment below because I want to know. I want to know how you guys work so I also can get inspired. And please consider subscribing to this channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And please stay safe. Wash your hands and keep on writing. Until next time. Hejdå!